Hi, my name is Frankie. Thank you for listening to my mom. I never listen.
Welcome to Nothing But Net with the Caitlin Clark from the University of Iowa. I am so excited, Caitlin, to spend some time with you. Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast.
Thanks for having me on. It's the best pod. Can't pass it up.
I mean, I think you're the most frequent visitor to our podcast. I'd like to have you on as much as you want to come on. I mean, we'll just wait to keep passing records and we'll just keep bringing you on.
Soon we'll just have our own podcast together. How about that?
You know what? I think that would be really interesting, and I'm all in for that. If you want to do that, we can make that happen.
All about offense, though. It's the only thing we can talk about.
I mean, thank you so much. It's about time somebody's paying attention. I'm so glad you said that. How's it going?
It's good. It's good. You know, we just got back to campus, so it's nice just being back with the squad, and Big Ten plays opening up soon. And I think the Big Ten's loaded this year, so we're going to be tested. You know, whether you're playing, you know, the top of the conference, the middle of the conference, you know, people supposedly at the bottom, they're still talented. So, you know, you got to really be ready every single night. But that's what makes it so fun. Those are the games you want to play in. So we're really excited, and, you know, I think we're ready for it.
I agree with you. I think the Big Ten has a lot of very good teams. They might not always have the most talent, but they're very good basketball teams. They're well prepared. And you're used to having a target on your back. I mean, it's a big, giant bullseye, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like our team is kind of, you know, we have that target now. We've talked about that since the summer. You know, people are coming for us. We were the Big Ten tournament champs, regular season champs last year. So we're the team that people want to beat. You know, we beat a lot of the top teams in the conference last year, finished really strong there at the end of conference season. But, you know, we wouldn't really want it any other way. We don't want to be the underdogs anymore. I think we've proven enough where we aren't the underdogs anymore. But, you know, we're the ones getting hunted now. That's always what Coach Bluder talks about. So, you know, you just got to embrace it and live up to it. And, you know, I think we have so far, but we're definitely going to get tested going forward.
Caitlin, do you think there's still some people out there that don't believe, like they have not seen the light? I mean, the range, the skill, the leadership, the confidence, the swag. I mean,
I think there will always be that. But, you know, I think when people definitely come to our arena and watch our team play, watch me play, watch my teammates play, I think they can see like the excitement, the joy, the passion, the fun that we play with. Like, I think we have the highest attendance in the country right now. The way people support women's basketball in our state is pretty crazy. We don't have pro sports, so this is people's pro sports for us, and they really support it like no other. So I think when you really tune in and watch, you can really see the fun and the passion that we play with. And, you know, that's how basketball should be. It should be fun. You should enjoy getting to go out there and play with your best friends. And, you know, that's what it is for me every single day.
that's what it is for me. That's why I've been doing it for 35 years. I love it. They're going to have to drag me out of the seat to get rid of me. And I'm excited about getting a chance to see you again this season at some point. So what are the challenges of having all 5 players back from last year and all the success that you had?
Yeah, I think obviously, you know, we're a very veteran team. We didn't change a lot of things that we did, you know, the previous 2 years. So I think people really know us. They know us really well. But at the same time, if you run sets correctly, you do what you're going to do. They still can't stop it. That's just how it is. Coach Bluder always talks about execution, you know, setting screens, using screens. It's still hard to defend, even if they know what's coming. So I think that's the biggest thing. Teams really know what to expect when they're playing us. You know, we play maybe 2 girls that other teams probably haven't seen a lot of. But, you know, I think that's just the biggest thing is our veteran group. But at the same time, I think that's a benefit for us. Having that veteran leadership, knowing each other so well, knowing where each other's going to be on the floor. So I think that's the biggest thing. But people are probably getting tired of playing Iowa women's basketball because we've had the same starting 5 all 3 years that I've been here. But, you know, COVID's nice, so we use it to the best of our ability.
Nobody's won more Big Ten games than Coach Bluder. You referenced her earlier. Okay. Is there still times when you come across midcourt, you slice the court, and you're getting ready to launch from who knows how far outside the 3-point line? And she's like, no, I mean, yes. Right?
She definitely probably says that in her head a couple of times, things I do during the games. But, you know, Coach Bluder, you know, she's very, very offensive minded. That's one of the reasons I came here. We have improved a lot on the defensive end, but our bread and butter is on offense, our transition offense. And when we're really running that and executing that, we're really hard to stop. But Coach Bluder gives me the green light, and I love playing for her. And like you said, the winningest coach in Big Ten history, I think 234 put her past that mark. So pretty incredible. And I'm obviously very, very lucky that I get to play with her, somebody that understands the game of basketball incredibly well. So just being able to be coached by her is pretty awesome. And I like to think I keep her young. I'm a little goofy. So she has that too.
She's great. I've known her for a long time, so I enjoy coming to Iowa to get to spend some time with her and to get to spend some time with you. So crossing 2,000 points, I mean, it seems like, yeah, I mean, like it was going to happen. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal to me because of all the other things that you do, but it's a pretty big deal when you're the fastest to do it alongside Elena Delle Donne.
Yeah, I think it's, obviously pretty incredible. And somebody asked me, like, does it really hit you? And I'm like, no, it doesn't really hit me. Like, it doesn't feel any different than any other game. It's probably something that I'll, appreciate maybe down the line more in my life. But just to be in the same company as, Elena Delle Donne, somebody that I grew up watching and really idolized and loved her game and still do, is pretty special and pretty cool. And it's just kind of weird that my name's in there because I just feel like the same little kid that's been playing basketball and loving basketball forever. But again, I just think it speaks to this team and the offense we run. Like, obviously my teammates put me in really good positions to be successful. Coach Bluder puts me in a lot of positions to be successful. Our transition offense really like allows me to show my skill set and flourish to the best of my ability. So I've been pretty fortunate in that regard as well.
Okay, so I'm going to guess that you're going to celebrate more when Monika Czinano, your post player, crosses 2,000 because she's not far off. You're going to have 2,000 point scorers. I think Oklahoma is the only one right now that has that right now with Taylor Robinson and Maddie Williams.
Yeah, I think, obviously that's super incredible to have two people on your team being over 2,000 points, but then also McKenna Warnock just eclipsed 1,000, I think a couple games ago. So 2,000 point scores and then another 1,000 point score. I think that just shows how many points we score. Not many teams can say the same, but Monika has really developed over her time here. And obviously I've been super lucky to get to play with her over the past 3 years. And, obviously she gets me a lot of assists. She's pretty efficient on the block, but she's like one of the best people I've ever been around in my life. So I'm excited for her. And I think she's only like 11 or so points away. So that'll probably be coming versus Purdue on Thursday night. So we're excited for her too.
I hope you get the assist that leads to the 2,000.
That's true.
I'm sure you will.
It's only fitting.
It will be fitting. That's true. You recall last year, I haven't done it this year because you haven't played enough games, but I did count how many times Monika dribbled to score going into the end of the regular season. It's pretty phenomenal how, how deep she catches it, how hard she works for position, but also you getting her the ball where she doesn't have to put it on the floor and she can quickly score before the double team. How much science is there to that in film watching, or is that just chemistry between the two of you?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think, coming into a game, I definitely know how teams are probably going to guard her, what they've done in the past, whether, they're high side, whether they're on the back, whether they're trying to front. And, there's different ways to pass the ball no matter the way the defense is guarding you. And a lot more teams have started to trap as well. So there's different ways to, score against that too. But I think obviously our coaches give us a great scouting report, but at the same time, I think Monika's learned over the years. She knows where I'm going to put the ball. I think there was a couple times when I was on campus my freshman year that I nailed her straight in the face, and she kind of learned the hard way that she probably needs to be looking all the time, even if I'm not looking directly at her. But I think Monika has tremendous hands. That's kind of a, something that she doesn't always get credit for. She catches a lot of tough passes a lot of times, and makes me look a lot better than it probably is. So got to give her credit there too. But, it's hard to guard pick and roll action, post up action, especially when Monika does her work so early. It's just tough to guard. And, she gets her player buried so deep, she just has to turn and make a simple post move. But, that's a lot of credit to our post coach as well, Coach Jensen. She's done a tremendous job with Mon and with our other posts as well. She really develops them and helps them, transform into tremendous players.
There's two topics I want to cover with you. One is confidence, the other is toughness. I want to start with toughness first, okay? Because there's a lot of things that are tough about what you have to do and what your responsibility is inside the game, not just at Iowa, So it requires both toughness and confidence. Let me start with toughness. I know you worked in the off season to physically get stronger, which you have. How has that been able to manifest itself in, cutting through the lane or driving to the bucket and being able to stay on your line and get an and one, like an old fashioned three for you, not the 3-point from the logo? I say it's always two logos with you, Caitlin. Yeah. It's the midcourt logo and it's the logo in the middle of the lane. There's two logos you have to deal with.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Talk about that toughness a little bit.
I think, that was a huge focal point for me. Obviously, previously I would be gone a lot of the summer playing USA basketball. So I didn't really always have the opportunity to be in the weight room with my team and really develop and focus on that. And then I think, I just made the choice that I knew I needed to be stronger. So that was always a focal point about it too. But I think the biggest benefit I've seen from it is just staying on my feet, especially when I'm around the rim. I think one of our coaches told me today that I'm shooting about, 67% around the rim, which is pretty tremendous. So if you go back and watch clips from last year, I was falling over quite a bit just from little contact around the rim area. So being able to stay on my feet, stay balanced, and, I want a 3-point play. I don't just want 2 free throws. So I think that's been the biggest thing, is the ability to stay on my feet and absorb a lot more contact, just because I am a lot stronger in my legs and my upper body, I think is the biggest thing. But I think also knowing how teams are going to guard me, they're going to be physical. That's just how it is. I can't expect a ref to call that every single time down the court. So just expect the contact, absorb it, and play through it. And when they're up being physical with you, you can be physical back and go by them. There's different ways to, counter people being physical with you. Don't get frustrated by it, I think was the biggest thing for me to learn and take a step forward in too.
I think that's where you've had the greatest growth, to be honest with you, is not just the physical toughness, it's the mental toughness. I mean, you are getting pushed around. You are getting a lot of contact. The referees aren't calling it. Last year, you had a sour look on your face. It wasn't attractive. It was kind of like you look like you're whining, complaining. Yeah. I don't see you doing that this year.
No, yeah. Yeah, I think that's obviously, you want the refs to be your best friend. So no matter what it takes. And I think, obviously my team needs me to talk to them if things aren't going our way. And, no ref is going to stop and be like, oh, you're right, let me change that call. So, yeah, there's still times where I get frustrated. Everybody gets frustrated. That's human nature. But how fast can you change your mind and get focused on the next play, because your team needs you. And my team definitely needs me, especially, in the point guard position. You're the extension of the coach on the court. So just being a lot more vocal in that area and moving on to the next play, because you can't go back in time and change it, even though sometimes you wish you could.
All right, so let's go back in time, because we can't. Let's just talk about the Creighton game, because that had to be the most adverse situation that you had faced personally and, as a team. Losing at home in the second round, it was a little bit of a shocker. I'm not disputing what a good team Creighton is. I'm just saying there were some times in the game when you were getting really rocked pretty good, and it was tough.
Yeah.
Right, so what did you learn from it?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, that we talked about through the off season and still talk about today is, when things aren't going our way, or the offense isn't flowing like it should, or shots aren't falling, like we still need to find ways to winning ugly. And I thought we could have certainly done that versus Creighton, but I thought we felt flustered. We didn't get calls we expected. But, we played pretty solid defense. I think we held them to 64 points. It was just, we still couldn't quite come over the hump of our offense not being there. So I think, winning ugly, it doesn't always need to be pretty, but as long as you get the W, that's all that matters. And I've said this many times, but I think last year we didn't really have that fire inside of us. My freshman year, we made it to the Sweet 16. Nobody really expected us to be there. And then the next year kind of just we didn't have that fire. And I think this year we have that fire inside of us. We experienced a little bit of disappointment. We've faced adversity. So, that fire's inside of us now, and, you got to use that to the best of your ability. But yeah, obviously that Creighton loss definitely burns and stings, and it's tough losing like that in front of a sold out crowd that all came to cheer for you and see you win and advance to the Sweet 16. But, that's why our fans are so great. They've came back. They still support us even more than they probably did last year. And, that means the world to us. And, that's why we have one of the best attendance in the country. And that's also another reason I came here.
So the other thing I want to talk to you about is confidence. I think that you have incredible mental toughness and you have incredible confidence, but where does the confidence come from? How do you build confidence as a player that has a target on their back all the time and you can do so many special things on the floor?
Yeah, I think, it's kind of always something I've had since a young age. My parents, they always told me, you can do whatever you want, you set your mind to, don't let nobody tell you that you can't do it. And I grew up playing with the boys, so I had to have a little confidence, a little chippiness to me. I had two brothers, but I grew up on playing on boys teams, soccer, basketball. So if I wanted to hold my own, that's how I had to be. But, I think a lot of the confidence stems from just me being in the gym. I work on my craft. I love being in the gym working. Like, that's why I have confidence, is because I know I've put in the time. I've put in the hours, I've got the shots up. So just to rely back on that, and let that show and flourish in games. And that's why you play, because you love it. You put the time in. But yeah, I think, to be one of the best, you have to have that confidence. And, I try to instill that in my teammates too, because, there's a lot of female basketball players that can struggle with that at times. And I think that's so important. And that's something Coach Bluder even tries to instill in us, is to be confident, be a confident female leader. So I think that's something I can radiate for my teammates as well.
That's the way I look at it. I mean, it's, as a shooter, there's no time for a slump and there's no time to lose your confidence. You don't play enough games,
Yeah.
So if your technique is right and you're taking shots at game speed and there's shots that you can make, and you put the time in and the work and you get the reps, then you have to be confident. You just got to believe the next one's going to go in, right? I mean, that's the mentality, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I think, you miss a couple, I'm coming back up, I'm shooting the next one. And that, like you said, I think percentages always work out. If they're great shots, they're shots your team wants, you're in rhythm, then they're going to go down at some point. And that's how I always view it and look at it. And sometimes a lot of them go down, sometimes not a lot go down, but you have to find other ways to contribute. And I think there is other ways I can contribute to the team. So, and that's also something I've kind of, changed in my mental game is, when shots aren't falling, I can pass the ball, I can rebound the ball, I can bring an intensity for this team, that will help us win as well.
Okay, so the whole branding of Caitlin Clark, all of it, the marketing major, the incredible range, the skill set, all the accolades that are coming your way. Like, how in the big world of branding and marketing is the whole Caitlin Clark experience expanding?
Oh, I mean, I think obviously it's kind of crazy for me to look at, like, where I started when I came in here as a freshman. Like, it was COVID. A lot of people in the state of Iowa knew who I was, just because I live 2 hours from the University of Iowa. I was one of the best recruits we've had, and I decided to stay home. But I think being able to see, like, the range or the expansion that the country has really seen, from me, and just seeing how they support women's basketball, and now people love Iowa women's basketball. It's cool. And they're starting to take notice of our team, the way we play the game. But I think the biggest thing is just seeing, like, the little boys and little girls that come to our games, and, they're so excited. And I think it's cool to even see little boys that are so excited about women's basketball. It doesn't always have to be, little girls. They appreciate our game and understand how good it is as well. I think that's almost the biggest responsibility we have is, being a great role model for young kids. And I think our team exemplifies that really, really well. Not only great basketball players, but great students, great people. And at the end of the day, I understand that's way more than winning a basketball game or making a logo 3 or something like that. And I think that's the coolest thing you can do, is put a smile on somebody else's face, and inspire them to want to be great in whatever they want to be great in.
Well, you are all of my hashtags, right? Shoot till your arm falls off, ticket selling player, put on earth to do what? The answer is score. It's all about offense, right? Everything I do, I don't have a plan or a dream. I have an offensive game plan. That's my life. I mean, I'm going on offense. But you had me last year. Not many people may know this, but at the Final Four, after suffering that devastating loss at home to Creighton, and knowing that you did not win the Naismith Trophy Award, you still showed up in Minneapolis for the Naismith Trophy presentation to Aaliyah Boston. I thought that was absolutely phenomenal. The Heisman invites several candidates, and you don't know who's going to win. You're the only player that I can ever remember in my 35 years that has come to an awards presentation and you weren't going to win it as an individual. Why did you do that?
I think the biggest thing is, Aaliyah was one of my teammates. And I think, like Coach Staley said, as that whole conversation was going on, this argument of Caitlin or Aaliyah is so good for our game. That gets people excited. Like, we want people to argue about who should be National Player of the Year. Like, that's how it should be. We should have all these tremendous players in our game. And there should be that conversation. That's what excites people to watch our game even more. But at the same time, I want to respect and honor people that help our game be tremendous. And I think Aaliyah is one of those. And obviously, Coach Staley was coach at Naismith Coach of the Year as well. And I've had the honor of receiving the Don Staley Guard of the Year 2 times. So being able to, honor her too, who's done so much for our game, was special. But, I think, at the end of the day, that's not the reason you play to win awards, but it's also a great honor for, our team and our program for me to even be a finalist. So, celebrating that as well, because I know I wouldn't have been there without my team or my coaches. And at the end of the day, that is a kind of a team award. But at the same time, to celebrate Aaliyah, and, she deserved it. And it was awesome to see the way her team was there too, supporting her. But like Coach Staley said, I think, the conversation is great. There should be that argument for not only me and her, but other players as well, because our game has so many great players.
I 100% agree. And that is a wonderful answer. I know your parents would be really proud of that one. That's excellent. I know you have a goofy side. I know you have a funny side. You always look so serious on the floor, but I know you're having fun because I know you love what you do. Mm-hmm. Any pranks that you've pulled lately that you care to share before we close?
I don't know if there has been any good ones lately. I need to get Coach Bluder soon, that's for sure. I get her a lot. I go after her, but she thinks it's funny. That's what I'm telling you. I keep her young. I just mess with her sometimes, but it's all in good fun. Everybody knows I have the goofy side, so I look serious on the court, but trust me, I'm goofy. I'm fun, but I can definitely switch gears and, be super competitive. And when I need to lay down the line, I will.
I think it's fun to have that switch. And by the way, you're still a kid.
Hey, that's right. I'm only 20.
You're only 20. Okay. Well, like I said, you're still a kid. Caitlin, we're so grateful that you took the time. I know you have a busy schedule. You probably got shots to get up. I know you've been home, so you're probably itching to get back in the gym. Wear out that dish. Okay. Just wear it out.
That's all I do.
That's great. Well, thank you for being on Nothing But Net. We really appreciate it. You're welcome anytime you want.
Thanks for having me. I always appreciate coming on.